Well, hello everybody and welcome to Lunch Break Live. Real talk about obesity, food addiction recovery, and what's really eating you. I am Carrie Dela Cruz, and before I get too much farther into today's episode, I'm going to check and make sure you guys can hear me. So, I'm going to wait for people to join me. It looks like I got a few of you guys out there. Give me some thumbs up if you can actually hear me today. Oh, there we go. Hi, Mama. I see your face. All right. Woohoo! Hey, I'm a fast learner, I guess we'll say. It only took me like 20 minutes to figure it out yesterday. So, yay! I'm glad you can hear me. All right, then. Well, with that said, I am super excited. I have a really great show planned for you guys today, and I am calling it Finding Your Recovery Sweet Spot. Learning to live, what was it? Learning to live a life free of extremes. Oh, that fell flat. I don't remember. Let me just call it Finding Your Recovery Sweet Spot, because that's really what it all is. Yeah. You know what? It's hard to be me. And by the way, I have to put this out there. You guys are so wonderful. I mean that. You keep me humble, but you also make me feel loved and taken care of and worried about. And I'm just going to say, one of you guys today sweetly asked me if I ever eat lunch. And I thought that was the sweetest thing in the world. Yes, I do. But as I explained, I don't want to have spinach in my teeth. And so I wait till after the show to eat. But anyway, thank you guys for worrying about me. You are so sweet. Yes, I eat. So, but I like talking about the stuff that eats us more. And with that said, here's what I want to talk about. I want to talk about the recovery sweet spot. And that's what I'm calling that place that is outside the extremes. And a lot of us understand what extremes look like. I'm going to kind of throw this out there and you tell me if this sounds familiar, all right? And by the way, before I go to that place, I think the goal of recovery is to live in relative peace, okay? That's the sweet spot, is living in relative peace. And I want to encourage you guys, and through this program, to learn to find peace with yourself, peace with food, and peace with others. So that would be kind of how I would like bookend this show today, talking about living clear of those extremes. Now, let me kind of talk about the extremes. How do we get there? Well, extremes in our lives would be like the wild pendulum swings, the wild swinging, the really, high highs and the really low lows. I'm talking about like the high drama that you see on Facebook. High drama, it's huge, and I'm going to get on my soapbox, and I'm going to rant, and I'm going to rave, and the low lows. We don't see you on Facebook, or when we do, it's awful, it's pitiful, I'm checking in from the hospital, oh God, it's awful. High highs, low lows, right? Depression. We don't often hear from people when they are living in the land of depression, or if we do, it's not very happy. So that would be what I would call an extreme. I think that peace lives in that balanced area, somewhere between the high highs and the low lows. That's the sweet spot. That's the thing that we're after. Why do I say that? Because it's really, I think you'll agree with me, it's hard to recover from the high highs, right? Because the opposite of high as you're coming down is, oh man, it'll never be that great again. And then you crash and burn and you're picking yourself up off the floor only to go high again. And then you're recovering from the fall. And I mean, it's like this endless recovery from getting extreme, too big, I guess you could say, right? So I like the idea of going for that healthy balance, that moderation in our lives. And I don't use that word loosely, by the way. I think a lot of us like to use the word everything in moderation. And I'm like, everything? Really? Like, so drugs and alcohol and everything in moderation? And for me, no. I don't really understand moderation. But my point is in the middle, somewhere in the middle, all right? And let me kind of give you some examples of what I mean when I'm talking about that. I'm talking about the difference between boiling hot water and frigid ice water. So you're like in the swimming pool and you jump into the jacuzzi and then you go from the jacuzzi to the pool. Anybody ever done that? And how does it feel? It is like a shock to the system, right? We used to bet each other, oh, I bet you can't do it, right? Those are extremes, and it's a shock to the system. How about a flood versus drought? Hey, I live in California, Southern California. We are in like the 5th or 6th year of a drought. And when it rains here, because it's so dry, we have mudslides. And when it's dry, we have brush fires. So we have these extremes. It's all or nothing. It's absolutely no rain or too much rain. And either way, we're trying to recover from the extremes of not having any water or having too much. Get it? All right. How about this one? How about pitch black? Like, I'm talking pitch black. Can't see your hand in front of your face. Like, can't even adjust because there's no light. Versus this glaring, just blinding, like, you know, like when you wake up in the morning and you turn on the light and you're like, I can't see, all right? It's like you're having to adjust. You're working extra hard instead of the lights slowly going up or slowly going down. Like in the theater, you know, you're like, are the lights dimming? Does it look like they're dimming? Is the movie getting ready to start? You see what I mean? So if we get to adjust, it's like the warm water. It's like the light that gets to adjust, and we live in that place instead of the glaring or, I can't see, right? Okay. How about this? How about cleaning the house as you go versus letting it get wildly out of control? What's easier to do? Is it easier to kind of pick up as you go, or is it easier to, oh my gosh, it's out of hand, I can't find anything, it's a mess, I'm stepping over trash, and you know, that's like hard work, right? It is so much harder, I think, to clean up a house that has gotten wildly out of hand than it is to just clean as you go. And I kind of think if we look at our bodies as houses, it's a lot easier to kind of maintain and keep it clean as we go, pick up as we go, and every once in a while do a deeper clean than it is to wait for it to get wildly out of control, like, I don't know, a binge, or going way off the rails, hugely off the rails, and then trying to drag yourself, quote, back on track. I mean, that's hard work. Talk about trying to recover from an extreme. Recovering from a binge is exhausting. Recovering from not following the program and completely just throwing all caution to the wind and saying, I'm just going to do whatever I want to do, it's exhausting. It's much harder than if you step a little bit outside of the program you've planned for yourself. You know, you don't let your house get completely filthy. It just gets a little dirty. Okay, it's time to dust, time to vacuum, got to pick up the trash. How about laundry? Anybody let your laundry go? Mom, I'm not talking to you here. Okay, maybe I am. Anybody let your laundry get wildly out of hand until the point where you have no clean undies? I mean, it is really overwhelming if you are just surrounded by piles and piles and piles of dirty clothes, not to mention it smells bad. But if you wash a little bit as you go, you keep on top of it, right? You keep it managed. And that's really the goal, I think, in living in recovery, is managing the ebb and flow of our lives so that we're not trying to constantly recover from extremes. We're not trying to pick ourselves up from the low lows. We're not trying to recover from the high highs, right? All right. Let's see here. What else did I say? I just hummed it. I wasn't even looking through a list of names. You know what? It's hard to be me. All right. Let's see. Next, the biggie, food. Okay? I've been talking about it. I have been talking about it, but let's talk about the extremes, the all or nothing of food. How many of you guys overdo it on Thanksgiving, holidays, your birthdays? You overdo it, right? I'll just have a little of everything. I'll just have a little more of everything. Oh my gosh, it's not like I do this every day. Overdo. And then how do you feel? You feel like garbage. However, there's always room for every pie on the table, right? Oh my God, I can't even breathe. Oh, I'm just so stuffed. Oh, God. And then what do? We eat leftovers like that for like a week. Right? We're constantly overdoing it, and we're feeling, and trying to recover from that. I don't even feel like driving. I just feel like sleeping. And we blame the tryptophan and the turkey instead of the fact that we ate a bunch of crap that we don't maybe eat the rest of the year. And our bodies are like, whoa, I can't do this. We are trying to recover from that extreme of Thanksgiving style eating instead of pacing ourselves a little bit, deciding before we get there exactly what we're going to enjoy instead of overdo. All right. And then what is the opposite of Thanksgiving? Starvation. right? We overindulge, and then to make up for it, now we're going to go into starvation mode. I'm not going to eat anything between now and Christmas because everybody knows that come Christmas, right? So we live in this world of extremes, which is exhausting, and our bodies are freaking out. I don't know. Is it feast? Is it famine? Am I getting more food? Am I getting too much food? What am I supposed to do here? I'm not really sure. I think I'll crash and burn. So when we're talking about food, guess what? See? It's the same thing. Peace with food lives in the middle, not the extremes. It doesn't live in Thanksgiving or starvation, okay? Black and white. Now, I have to speak to this because I think some of you might be saying, yeah, well, what about addiction? Huh? That's kind of all or nothing, isn't it? Huh? Yeah, it's kind of a paradox. You know, at least for me, there is no such thing as moderation with some foods that are on my list. It really, really is all or nothing. But guess what? That is where I find peace. Because I'm all over the place. I am all or I am nothing. All, nothing, all cookies, no cookies, all cookies, no cookies. All over the place, right? That's exhausting. Those are extremes. However, if I just make a flat patent, nope, that's not going to happen anymore, then I am not constantly recovering from the extremes of addiction, right? Sobriety is the sweet spot for me. And that's what I'm talking about when I'm talking to you guys. So, let's see. I am someone who is quite capable of a binge and did it a lot. Yes, even after I had weight loss surgery, I found ways to binge. You just give it enough time and you'll get it in, right? And you know, the binge might have looked a little different on me after I had weight loss surgery and my stomach was smaller, but I still found ways to get Oreo cookies in, or I still found ways to consume ice cream or cake, or, you know, and just keep going slowly, but I would just keep going, right? Okay. And then I would punish myself. So I had this binge. For what reason, I'm not entirely sure, because it was there, because I was breathing, I was vertical, I wasn't in a coma yet, somebody offered it to me, it looked good, I haven't had it in a long time, it was there, whatever, okay? I mean, any port in the storm here, never needed a good reason to eat any of the things that are on my list. And then after I did that, convincing myself that I would just have a few, convincing myself that I would just stop, I overdid it, and then I punished myself. Talk about extremes. So, overdo, that's an extreme. Punish, that's another extreme. How about if we live right here in the middle? How about if I neither do extreme nor punishment? How about if I just celebrate life and just, you know, do the best I can somewhere here in the middle, so I'm not exerting all of this energy trying to constantly recover from extremes. So as I close out this conversation about finding your sweet spot, I would encourage you to look at all realms in your life, okay? I would encourage you to look at the physical realm. When we're talking about food, look at the extremes, right? All or nothing, feast or famine. I would look at exercise, where all of a sudden I'm going to do a marathon tomorrow, but then I'm so darn tired I'm not going to exercise for a year. Okay, that's not good either, right? So let's look at the balance somewhere, not having to do extremes. Just because, you know, you haven't exercised in a while doesn't mean you have to plan a 10K tomorrow. That's something you can plan for in time. I've seen a lot of people training for their first 5K or their first 10Ks or whatever, and that's really good. You train for it, you work up to it, you don't do it tomorrow. So let's talk about not going to extremes, not doing all the working out in one day, okay? Let's talk about the extremes on the emotional front. You know, the extreme rage, the anger, the extreme depression, you know, having these extreme pity parties, you know, pity party of one, your table's ready, pity party of one. I mean, really? Okay, let's talk about reining that in a little bit. Let's not go to those extremes. Hey, I am a recovering drama queen. I know how to do it. I know how to manipulate the situation. I know how to get people to feel sorry for me. I know how to be dramatic. I also know how hard it is to recover from that. So, you know what? If Facebook brings out your inner drama queen or drama king, how about we work on that front? Because that's an emotional extreme on both sides. Please pour me another drink, pity me, or yay, celebrate me, like me. Those are both extremes, all right? Let's work on the moderation in the middle with that emotional front and the mental front. Can I let stuff go? Do I have to fight absolutely every battle or fight no battles at all because I'm terrified of confrontation? Do I have to die on every hill, or am I not going to go into any battles at all? Those are extremes. Think about it. Is this a battle that needs to be fought? Maybe it is, maybe it's not. Can I let it go? Can I move aside? All right. So that's your mental sweet spot that we're talking about. And yes, because we are spiritual beings, let's talk about that spiritual sweet spot. Is it all or nothing? Is it, I'm so guilty, I never, ever, ever go to church, or I only go on Easter and Christmas because I at least have to show up twice a year. Or if I miss even one Sunday, well, I might as well not go any Sundays at all. You know, are we extreme? I have to go every day. Hey, I like daily mass, so don't get me wrong. I mean, I wish that I had the opportunity to do that. So if you do that, that's really awesome. But sometimes I think, you know, if we're trying to nurse this guilt, assuage this guilt and say, I must do that because of my guilt, instead of nurturing a healthy relationship, right? Your spiritual relationship with God, your higher power, whatever you want to call that. I call that God. Somewhere in here, let's look at that healthy relationship of not having extremes, not having I'm on my knees all day, and over to here where I'm never on my knees. Let's look at that somewhere in the middle. So that's what we're talking about. When I am talking about your recovery sweet spot, that is where the peace resides. That's where peace lives. That's where you want to live. Okay, so that's my talk about the recovery sweet spot. I'm going to go ahead and take a look and see who's here. And by the way, thank you guys so much for coming back, especially after the drama of yesterday. That was hysterical. When I talk about you guys keeping me humble, it's like, I thought you were loving me. Ooh, I'm rocking. Look at me. No, you couldn't hear me. So yeah, I'm humble, all right? And I am grateful that you guys are here today. So thank you so much. All right, I'm going to check and see what you guys are saying. And I'm not going to hum. I'm going to sing instead, I guess. Wow, you guys are busy. You guys are happy to be here. I love that. Hi, Mama. Hi, Trip. I'm glad you're here. You've been posting some really good stuff, sister. All righty. And Kathleen, did you get your book yet? You got to tell me when you get your book. Dave, hi. Okay, I should lower my voice because we're getting ready for bedtime now. Shh, soothing, dulcet tones. All right, no highs, no lows, just in the middle. Got it. All right. And let's see, Nina, so glad you are here, Nina. So glad you made it. All right, then. Who else is here? And I love that you guys, again, creating this community. I love this. I love that you're reaching out and saying hi and supporting each other. That makes me just kind of giddy and joyful. So let's see here. Oh, good. Hey, Dave, thanks for letting me start now that you're here. I really appreciate that. Now that I'm almost done, I noticed. All right. Ambient, make it quick. Ha, ha, ha. Right. There's nothing quick about me. Accepting hardship as the pathway to peace. Absolutely, Trip. Absolutely. You are so correct. Yes, we have to go through that hard stuff, okay? But I don't think we have to create the hard stuff. You know, I don't think we have to create the extreme fire, you know, walking on coals, hot coals all the time in order to be more stable on our journey, on the steps that we're taking. I don't think we have to take all the steps on hot coals, right? I know that's not what you're saying, but I would just put that out there and say, yeah, hardship, true, let's use it, but let's not make it harder than it has to be. Again, I know that's not what you're saying. That's what I'm saying. Hi, Eric. So happy you're here. Oh my gosh, you guys tried so hard to get my attention yesterday, but I was just oblivious and having a really good time all by myself. By the way, it was a great show yesterday. Sorry you missed it. All right. Really glad that I can hear you. Hi, Lynn. Yay! I'm glad you're here. I'm saying hi this time because I didn't get to say hi to you last time because you hadn't said anything and I didn't want to call you out. And Lynn and I were best buddies growing up and our moms are best friends and we go way back. Hi, sister. And happy anniversary too a couple days ago. All right. And yeah, I can't do moderation either. I think moderation is kind of one of those things that's like a false sense of security for many of us. All right. Because moderation is really not in the vocabulary of the average addict. So yeah, I think as long as we put moderation out there as the goal, I think a lot of us are going to fall short of that if we find that we struggle with addiction all the time. That's going to be like perfection. Moderation, perfection, they sound a lot alike to me. That's just my opinion. All right. And yes, you did make it again. I'm so glad you're here, my friend. All righty then, guys. I'm going to... Hey, Marcus, you made it. I have a lot of Kiwi friends here. You guys rock. I love you guys. I love my Kiwis. Mom, good day. Good day. No, that's Aussie. That's not New Zealand. You've got to like use a New Zealand thing. I can't remember what it is. All righty then. So the grazing, okay, I'm going to address some of these things here, and I might, do this on another show as well, because it is, yeah, it's like right about that time as I squint to see the clock. And let's see, there is peace in staying away from what hurts us. Isn't that fascinating that we want to, flirt with danger, flirt with disaster, see how close to the fire we can get without getting burned, and yet we keep getting burned and we say, well, next time will be different if we're addicts. It's really, we're the ones that get hurt when that happens, aren't we? We're the ones that get hurt. And so if we choose not to do it, if we choose not to go close to that fire and just say, you know what, every single time I get by the fire, I get burned, every single time. Therefore, how about if I don't go by the fire this time and not get burned? How will that feel? Well, that, my friends, is what you call peace. There you go. Pretty straightforward, huh? So, hey, Brian, glad you're here. I haven't seen you in a while. All right, you guys. I am going to RCIA, baby, me too. 26, almost 27 years ago. All righty. I am going to let you go because you guys are just chatting up a storm out there, but I want to thank you for being here as ever. I'm thinking maybe tomorrow we'll do a Q&A if you would like. I know you guys enjoy that format. So if you want to start thinking about your questions for me and throwing them out there, I think we'll do a Q&A tomorrow. I hope you've enjoyed the programming this week. I really have. I think that we're really drilling down and we're really getting into some of that, the meat, the heart of the stuff that eats us up, right? And I don't know about you, but I don't hear other people talking about this. I hear other people focusing solely on what we're eating, instead of thinking about what's eating us. And that's important. What we're eating is important. How we're moving is important. But I sometimes think why we're not moving or why we're choosing to eat certain things because of all the stuff that's eating us up. I think that's really an important part of our recovery journey. And I think that's where peace lives. So that's why I'm going to encourage you guys to find your sweet spot and share with me. If you're finding a way that you're saying, I realized I was living in these extremes, these high highs and these low lows, and these are the ways in which I found that I can choose to live in the middle and not let that pendulum wildly overswing so that I'm constantly having to recover, and pick myself up off the ground and stuff, all right, from being so sick. That's what I'm going to call it. It's like constantly being in a state of sickness and having to recover. And everybody knows we don't feel really good when we're just recovering from a bug, do we? So let's stay away from those germs, shall we? Those addiction germs and all of the unhealthy behaviors. Let's stay away from those things because guess what? They're contagious, they're infectious, they spread. All right. So on that note, I'm going to sign off and I'm going to thank you all for being here as ever and encourage you all to please share this program with anyone whom you think would benefit from it because let's get some more eyes. Let's get some more eyes on the show. All right. Because that's how we build a community of support. So I'm going to sign off and remind you all to have courage, seek peace, embrace joy, and above all, find your sweet spot and live your recovery. Remember, you can't stop feeding what's eating you if you don't know what's eating you. Take care, guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.